Welcome back to the movement, everybody. We got a very special guest, one of an honored brother, actually.
Thank you.
He just reverted over to Islam. It's going to be a wonderful journey that we're going to talk about.
3 years.
What he's doing now, right? It's going to be something special. I got Malik Al-Gamal. We got our co-host.
Yes, sir.
David Diabetes.
Yeah. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that name. I don't know about that name now.
Well, Egyptian. You just came back from Egypt, and you're saying your wife's Egyptian.
Yeah. Alhamdulillah. We got married just actually going on 1 year right now.
That's amazing.
We met at the mosque and got married actually within a month of meeting each other.
I really want to know that journey because obviously, if nobody knows, a Muslim woman has to marry a Muslim man. It can't be the other way around.
Well, I've been Muslim for 3 years, alhamdulillah.
Oh, okay, so well before you met her.
Yeah, exactly. It was already 2 years before I met her. Then I met her, and then it just, helped skyrocket the whole religion, putting the pieces together, getting your other half of your religion together. It made the whole world of difference.
What was that journey like, man? How much hate? Let's start off with how much hate you got first.
When I first came to Islam?
Yeah.
So actually, subhanAllah, I actually didn't get too much hate, The only thing, I think it was mainly just shock, Like before I was Muslim, obviously, I was actually Christian, right? So I was raised in a Christian household. I was doing my thing, I was mainly spiritual, not following, any book of rules so much as, just the 10 commandments and, just the basic things.
She's the only 10 commandments I know are biggies, bro.
Yeah. Big deal over there. But aside from that, it wasn't really, as strict and as, concrete what I was doing, what was going on when it was happening. But the main change for me happened when I actually moved out of my family's house, right? And then I got my own place. I was doing my own thing. And I had time to actually just sit with my own mind and think about things, right? For me, the main thing that stuck out, I was just thinking about, if we're born into a religion, what if you're born in the wrong one? You hear about all these other religions going on, atheism.
Where did that thought spring from, though? It's a very interesting thought to just... And by the way, to all mothers, don't let your sons out of the house until they get married because you might lose them to Islam, you know what I mean? But where did that thought spring onto, man? How did you just think of that? I don't know where it just comes up to them.
So it actually came from a couple of tragedies that happened to me. So I had some close friends that passed away, one from suicide, one from, there was a shooting that happened in my neighborhood. He was on my football team for a couple of years. He was actually shot. They weren't aiming for him or anything, but you know how it goes with the crossfire and everything. So
it's terrible.
It was mainly those kind of things that just got me to think about, what are we doing? We're trying to do good, but what is our guidelines for what good is in the first place, right? So everyone's always talking about, my truth, your truth. They can't be two truths to me. I need to know what is the real truth and stick to that. Because for me, as soon as I know that truth, it's simple. I know what to do, what not to do, and staying within those confines is what gives me that, that discipline and that grounding in my life. So that's essentially what got my thinking.
So that was from the tragedies.
Yes, exactly. So I just got thinking, what am I doing? What's going on in life here? And the main thing, again, like I said, is just thinking about like, okay, what if I'm not in the right religion right now? Am I going to just succumb to, the pressures of, okay, your family's in it, so you have to stay in it.
Were they Muslims, the friends that passed away?
No, not even.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Very
not
interesting.
even.
Yeah.
The neighborhood I actually grew up with, subhanAllah, now that I think about it, I always say, and my wife always says that, Allah was protecting me along the way, right?
What neighborhood's this?
I lived in LT, downtown.
Oh my God, Lowertown. Lowertown. I know some of the Goonies there, man, Yeah, there's some action going on down there. That's for damn sure.
I don't know what's going on nowadays. When I was there, it was chilled, and then it became
a
very
nice
bad.
Bakery though. That was that Portuguese bakery guy.
Yeah.
Fire, man.
Very good, very good stuff.
I was a local. I used to visit pretty often. I needed that Portuguese buns, bro. You know what I mean? Incredible, bro. Like
even if you gotta go into the slums, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I don't know about all that, bro. But right now we'll stick to the Portuguese buns. That's the sell.
You gotta do what you gotta do. But
so those guys were from LT?
Yeah. Both. Well, actually, one of them was from, but the other one was just from high school.
Mm-hmm.
Just a friend who took his own life was the one from high school.
Rito?
No, I went to Immaculata. So it was a Catholic school too. So,
I hated your football team, bro.
Actually?
Yeah. We lost one year. I was pretty pissed.
Well, when I was
there
playing,
was these two guys. I think they ended up playing in the Red Blacks, bro. That guy popped me so hard I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, man. I'm like, yo, wow.
What position you play?
I was a linebacker, man. And he was a running back. So I'm coming to nail him. I nailed him, but I'm like, wow, he still hit me pretty damn good.
Well, Immaculata actually has like a legit football field, right?
No, now they do. No, they're very good, man. That team out that year was very good. Sorry, man.
No, now they do. They got the turf set up and everything now.
I got some hate for them, bro. We lost at the semifinals on cheese, bro. We never got past it.
A long time ago, bro. It was a long time.
I only played linebacker once ever in my career. I remember that someone got injured, so they put me in. I was a halfback, defensive back. So they put me there like, yo, you're big. You can go in at linebacker. Didn't know what I was doing. The old lineman came from the second row, picked me up, drove me to the sideline, dropped me off.
No.
I said, don't ever put me there again.
No,
I
said, flexing.
I said, don't ever put me there again.
Right now,
I said,
what are you doing, you know?
I said, never again.
That's
and they never put me again.
That's crazy, man.
But it was still,
what a tangent. We were talking about his boys. Let's go back to the boys that passed away. So you're thinking to yourself, sorry, man.
No.
You're telling me LT, bro. It might start ringing up like a light bulb.
Yeah, of course.
Those buns.
Yeah, man, those buns, exactly. But so yeah, man. So they passed away. It wasn't even a Muslim influence. Then you just started thinking to yourself. So how did the research go for you?
So for me,
Christianity and Islam are pretty different, you know.
They're pretty different, but the main core fundamental ideas, aside from obviously, you know, the biggest Jesus thing, the biggest one, they're mainly teaching the same thing, right? So the thing for me is that once I saw the sort of correlation, I wanted to explore that further, right? So to me, there's a timeline always, right?
Yeah.
There's always a sequence of events that happens. And once you learn about Islam, how it's sort of like, you know, the bow at the end of the story, right? Like it's sealed, it's finished. This is how it is. It's up to you to now follow it. That's sort of what got me thinking. I was like, okay, you know, it makes sense. There's a lot of open-ended things, especially in Christianity, in the Christian community, where it's like, you know, once you start talking about certain things, they tell you that you just got to believe it. You know what I mean? And obviously in Islam, there's a couple of those things where you believe, but there's also very clear evidences of why, you know, who said it, when they were said, why it was said, and how it's beneficial for you. You know, it's nothing about like your aqidah, right? Your firm beliefs inside of you. None of those can really be questioned, right? So for me, once I started researching about Islam, because obviously for me, I already knew that God was one. So just off the bat, you know, it got rid of most of all the other religions except, you know, the big three. So Islam was the other one that I started researching, mainly because in LT, there was so many Muslims, right? So
we got to get out of the hood, boys. Listen, guys, we got a bad look for ourselves.
No, that's the crazy thing. Actually, that's
Work
the thing.
hard, man. You know what I mean?
It was actually crazy because, like
Don't
I
listen
said,
to Chico and Rico and all these guys. You know actually, go work hard, go to school, you know?
It was actually a cool thing because now after, you know, I'm on the other side and my wife is saying that I was very protected. When I'm thinking of all the things that happened, Allah actually did protect me and he protected my heart with Islam, right? So I saw all the things people were doing, but I never made that connection.
Right.
You know how a lot of people, they have a trouble differentiating between the religion and the people that are practicing. For me, I actually did not have a problem with that. I knew that people will always have the guidelines, but it's up to each individual person and how they implement that, right?
Good
so
point.
I actually did not have any problem with thinking, you know, having any idea of what Muslims were before I actually started researching it. So I didn't have to go through, you know, all of those prejudices or anything that was, you know, in the background. Even I was in the military for like 6 years, I think, before I released. And none of that transferred over.
To the military. Hey, you weren't wearing the Gucci satchel and the sliders and the chains.
Different life.
He wasn't wearing the Arab fuckboy pack. You know what I mean?
Never. But I think, you know, I can accredit this to mainly my household, right? So my household was actually one of the few that were actually secure. My mom and my dad, alhamdulillah, were both with me. They were both strong role models. They were both there, able to give me that, you know, that secure foundation at home.
Where are you from?
My parents are from Haiti.
Haiti, okay.
Yeah. I was born here, so you got no accent. You got.
It's okay, man. It's okay. You know, when you're hanging out with the family, you'll throw it in. You know,
it'll come out sometimes once in a while.
You'll go back and you'll just blend right in. You know.
Well, I hope so. We'll
you
see.
Know, it's funny. I never understood how much Jamaicans. I remember that I worked with these two guys. One was Jamaican, one was Asian.
Yeah.
And they just kept talking shit to him. He's like, "It's okay. You're from the garbage of the Caribbean." You know.
Yeah.
And then they got into a fight, bro. Like
they don't like each other.
Like, yeah, I didn't understand the beef.
And
I'm like, you guys do a lot of business together.
They don't like each other. I don't know.
There's two guys beefing too about which country is more dangerous. Like one's like, yo, Jamaica is crazy.
It's so wild that someone wants to
It's always, yeah.
That's the initiative you're trying to push.
Haiti's wild. Like Haiti's actually
right now,
lawless.
especially, yeah.
It's actually nuts. Didn't they just murk their president?
Yeah.
Just came in, just went to his house and bought
his whole family.
That's wild.
All of them, yeah.
That's wild.
It's actually insane.
Was he a good guy though?
What's attached to Haiti, Puerto Rico?
No, the DR.
DR's right attached to it?
Yeah.
It's wild, bro.
Yeah.
But was the president a good guy?
I think there's a lot of corruption in Haiti, especially with like the funding that
all over the world. Let's be honest, man. Politics across the globe is corrupt.
Well, there's like a lot of money that dude get for like the earthquakes that would happen and stuff like that, and then nothing would go to the people.
Was that what it was?
Yeah. So like people were like dead broke, had nothing, resort to violence, while millions, I think billions in funding were coming
probably
for the earthquakes.
So both parents are from Haiti, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a strong home, you had a strong father figure. I always say that, man.
Yeah, that 100% made, night and day difference for me, because I saw, people that I went to school since kindergarten up to high school went the complete opposite direction. You know what I mean? And it's just also how you're going to deal with it, right? Like, obviously, I've seen some things just being in the area, but it's your mindset, right? It's like how you deal with that. How do you let it affect you? Do you, play the victim mentality? Do you just let it, act as an excuse why you can't, rise up above it and be better? Or do you just let it hinder your abilities?
What was your dad doing at the time? Just out of curiosity.
What was he doing?
Like in terms of work?
He worked at Bell. He was one of, I think, like a cybersecurity guy, something like that.
Was he home pretty often?
Yeah.
I always found it was an interesting dynamic. A lot of the guys from the hood, their dad worked, pizza delivery, whatever. Not talking shit about pizza delivery.
No, it's usually when you're in the projects, it's like
they're working those 12 hours, 16 hours.
You know what I mean? I always found the ones that used to, might sound like a prejudice, but I'm not trying to be prejudicial. Seeing a lot of them, the ones that used to work under the table, cash and hustle welfare.
Yeah.
Always had kids that grew up corrupt. You know what I mean? Because you're literally teaching them now.
Of course,
from a young age, it's
okay
see
to
what
rob
you're doing,
and
steal and whatever. So
there's still people like that today, man. There's people like man. There's a guy who's my age who like a couple years ago was like talking to us. He's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna do CERB or just get paid, that
whole CERB thing,
that whole income, and then work a cash job." And I'm like, "Yo, you're in your 20s. Like, are you joking? Like, this is what you want to do for
It's crazy. That's the mindset. But I just really wanted to know because, like I said, a lot of it doesn't seem like you want to stray like these guys did, right?
Yeah.
And most of the time, I always seen they were hustling the system and cash, and it's crazy.
Honestly, like, alhamdulillah, like, you're Hakim to Islam and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, we're all truth seekers, and
of course.
I feel like, I guess for us personally, going to Islam just follows a logical train of thought and a logical thought process. And I think if you're an intellectual or you are a truth seeker, it kind of just, you end up coming to Islam.
Well, we're not even done the story anyways. My bad, bro. I gotta stop cutting you off.
No, that's okay.
You get me so excited. These Uber stories get me so excited. You know what I mean? Okay, sorry. Yeah, so your father's strong household. We'll go back to that, man.
Yeah. So it was literally just helped me with, be grounded when I was at home. He was coming to my, my volleyball games. He'd be there. Some of them, but obviously he still had to work. You know what I mean? But
for sure.
It was still just, all of that made the difference, right? Of seeing like how the man helped take care of the wife, take care of the family, even if he was doing it behind the scenes, not everyone's going to see, someone that's walking around with an apron, mopping up the floor and everything, but he's still the one that's, calling us in the morning, say, yo, come downstairs. We got to clean the house. You know what I mean? So just all of those little differences.
Was he big on breakfast together?
No way.
No way.
No way. My family, we have an issue with waking up early. I tell you that.
What about dinners together?
We had dinners together.
Everybody sit your ass down.
We had dinner until we all got older. Then I was like, I went through a phase. I was like, forget this, bro.
You're trying to go eat in your room, huh? Okay, I'm gonna make sure you ain't got no place to sit on.
Exactly.
You get upstairs, you take a chainsaw, beds in half. You know what I mean? What are you gonna do?
Doors off the hinge, everything.
Okay, so continue.
But then, essentially after I moved out, started thinking, about, what I'm doing, on this earth, how I can maximize the good I'm doing, as well as, reconcile with my own truth and figure out, okay, what's the actual path I should be following. I started looking into Islam. The main thing for me is I actually didn't want to talk to people that were Muslim just yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, because I didn't want to ever have it in the back of my mind that, I'm going to talk to this guy. He's going to tell me the rules and I'm going to see him next week doing the opposite. You know what I mean?
Very good point.
I didn't want that sort of hypocritical mindset to be anywhere near me, especially when I was just researching. I wanted to get straight to, You know, what does the book say? What is it? What does the teachings tell you? You know, what are you supposed to be doing? And then from there, how can I implement that into my life? So the journey of just, you know, starting to think about that. And then I went to a mosque 1 week later, and then I just talked to the imam. He asked me literally 3 questions. He's like, you believe, you know, God's one and he's the only one worth, you know, worshiping? I was like, yeah. He's like, you believe you're not supposed to drink alcohol, you know, eat like pig or anything like this, or fornicate? I was like, yeah, of course not. You know, that's what's causing the demise of households now that you're seeing, right? A lot of the families are deteriorating from the inside out due to this. You know, people's modesty, as well as, you know, how they're interacting with others, is causing those sort of doubts to creep into their hearts. And then they're just like, okay, I can do better. And then they don't mind breaking up the family to go, you know, try and, I don't know, do them kind of thing, right? So obviously I resonate with that. I was like, yeah, of course, you know, makes sense. And then he's like, okay, so you're Muslim, then you're pretty much ready. And
what was the third question?
The third one, he just asked, are you ready? You know, like, are you ready to take on these teachings kind of thing, you know, and come into this, you know, this pathway of life? And I was like, yeah, 100%.
That's it.
Yeah. That's what I told you. Literally, when I see the truth, and like, it's hard for me to try and.
What was the most captivating part? Like, whenever you were looking into the religion, I feel like, you know, I feel like a lot of issues Muslim people have is they just hammer down on the rules. If you're like the question, oh my God, these guys drove me nuts.
Yeah.
I had a guy that used to work for me, a white guy. And then he's like, yo, I want to pray with you guys. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Come on by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he starts praying with us. And he starts asking me questions. And I think there was 4 other guys there.
Okay, yeah.
Bro, I was going to play whack-a-mole with these guys.
Yeah.
And they just started arguing. No, it's this. No. And they start coming with the rules. Where are you guys going to, bro?
Yeah.
Where are you guys going to? It'd start off with the beauty of it, man.
Of course, yeah.
Well, one of the best names of Allah is what? The most merciful.
Yeah.
What happened to all this? You know what I mean? Right away, the rules. You can't do this. You can't do that.
Yeah.
But the whole no fornication and the pig, the swine, all that, that's also in the Christian scriptures.
Yeah, of course. If you dig deep enough, you'll see it. You're not supposed to be doing any of this stuff.
They say this is a Christian country.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, quote unquote Christian country.
And you know, the degeneracy is rampant.
The West is far from religion now, bro.
The degeneracy. I remember how many times back in the days. I look Italian, to be honest. So I never got a lot of the hey, fuck you, Arab, go back to your country. You know, I got it sometimes. You know,
it's been disappointing with the evolution of religion over like the last couple decades, because it's not supposed to evolutionize, right? It's supposed to stay the same.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I like this one line. It's like, why is the guy asks the shaykh, and he's like, why is the air so fresh in the morning? He's like, because hypocrites aren't up at this hour. Yeah, like, it's fashion, bro. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
tough. Bro, I'd rather go run a marathon with David Goggins, bro, and try to keep up with him.
Yeah.
Like, I'd have a better chance than Fajr, bro. You know,
it's a battle, bro, but it's
tough for sure.
It's definitely worth it, and it's a lifestyle. That's what's really different about Islam. Actually, I think like full-fledged, it's different. Like even Christianity in the East is different than Christianity in the West. Because if you look at like Lebanon or even Egypt, you know, like
Lebanon's completely toast.
They practice.
Yeah,
they practice and they practice completely different from the West.
That's what's crazy. Even when I went to Egypt, I just actually can tell I'm bald now. I went for Umrah. Alhamdulillah.
How'd you get later going to Egypt, bro? I think he'd catch it then.
Well, no, I was getting cooked out there.
Bro, look at the top of his head. And look at his face.
I'm just talking shiz, my boy. Come on.
You got dark.
I got cooked.
David Goggins, the Muslim version, you know?
Okay, David, I could accept that one, not the David Diabetes.
Come on.
He's saying that because like my last name, like Sukkari, is
okay.
That's what that means. So, like literally, like in English.
He's a sweet guy, bro. That's my line. He's a sweet guy.
You know that's means,
you know those cheesy immigrant jokes. You know what I mean? Yo, why is the tea so sweet? It's because I put my finger in it. You know
okay, yeah.
That's a diabetes line there, bro. By the way, I don't think I even got the answer to that question. What was the thing that captivated you the most when you were looking into it?
Captivated.
Like when you were looking into Islam, and I know I went on that little tangent how a lot of people, they'll look and they'll start with the rules, and you don't want to talk to a guy because then you'll be like, okay, he's telling you don't drink, but he's at the club on the weekend.
Yeah. But I don't know. What are you saying too, though? Like, I don't think I'm just judging from what you said.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a captivating thing. There was like a logical thought process. Like this makes sense, that makes sense. This makes sense.
That's fine. But at the same time, you can, while you're looking into the religion, you can be like, there's wow factors. There's a lot of shock and awe. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. Obviously, the first one was the Quran. You know how it's been protected. You know from all the way there, 1400 years till now. You know that was one of the main things. I was like, okay, how how has this happened? You know what I mean? With so much corruption on this earth, how is this one book, the only book, able to survive, be preserved this whole time, right? And then the ways that I see that, they have 5-6-year-olds that have memorized it front to back. Mashallah. People that are able to pass that down to their kids. It's a miracle that you can see every day, and just talking to normal people, you know what I mean?
That's why it can't be corrupted, bro. Like
exactly,
it's memorized. You can't just throw something.
I wonder if
in there.
that's what it was, right? Because they says that the Quran at the time being of the Prophet, it was carved in the hearts of, I think, 10,000 men or something like that. Yeah. So I remember a very interesting comparison is I said, if you take all the Bibles in the world and throw them in the sea, and you take all the Qurans, throw them in the sea, and then try to recreate the Bible, they'll never agree, because the Protestants and the Anglicans and this guy and all that, they're going to no, that's not it. That's what it was. And then you can get literally one guy to make back the Quran, and then the whole time, that's it. Right there.
They just scan it real quick. They even know down to, the Fatha is like, that's good.
Incredible, bro. I'm trying to teach my son the alphabets, and I'm like, I don't even know these things, bro. What's going on here, bro? My boy David knows more than me.
I don't know how to read and understand, but I can read and recite. Alhamdulillah. So
that's amazing.
They taught me once I first started, they said main thing, just learn how, what the letters mean. Because obviously when I looked at it, I'm like, a bunch of scribbles, bro. Like what is all this?
From right to left. Too,
true. And then just going like that, I'm always picking it up the wrong way. I'm like, what is this, bro? And then I flip it over and then, start it over. But I actually, like when I first actually accepted Islam, right? So like, right before I accepted, like they invited me obviously to pray with them. So I was praying, and then, there was this feeling that was, I don't know how to explain it. It's sort of like an aura, that was around me, an energy.
Okay, we'll go from there, yeah.
Like there's an energy that was surrounding me, and I was like, I was kind of freaked out. I was like, what is this? Like why am I so peaceful yet so uncomfortable with, like what's happening here? There was sort of some sort of transformation that was happening, I'd say. But even after I made my first sujood, I got back up, it was all gone. The second half of like, the uncertainty, but the calmness took over. Right?
That's crazy.
So obviously I didn't know what everyone's doing, right? Like I was going down and like, poking my head up, seeing what's going on, because I didn't know what's happening.
Shit, I feel like sometimes I do that today, bro.
No, you don't.
32 years.
Yeah. You just poke your head up.
I'm trying to relate to my brother.
Poke your head up, just see what's going on. But then after the parade, like we got up. And it was during COVID, actually. So everyone was still distanced. But the imam was like, are you ready? Like he asked me like in front of the people. And at the time, I swear I had like a ton of vision. I only saw straight to the imam, and I was like, yeah, I'm ready. Like I didn't see no people. There was no, pressure or anything like that. And I was like, 100%. I got up. I did my shahada. Even during COVID, all the uncles surrounded me,
Of course.
I was about to be like, how many hugs and kisses did you get?
Exactly. They didn't care about COVID. The protocols went out the window. These guys started hugging me and everything. But it was really special. It was crazy. I was like,
That must have been a crazy feeling though, eh? All that love.
Of course. But then the even crazier, I went home and I was like, now what? Like I sort of felt like my whole life was upside down now, So for me, I was like, okay, how do I go about, implementing these changes, right? So for me, the first thing, like obviously, like I told you, once I have the truth, like I don't hide it so much, right? So within a week, I went straight to my parents' house, knocked on the door. I was like, yo, we gotta sit down, we gotta talk. Yeah, I got some news.
What's your dad's name?
His name's Jean.
Jean, we have to have a conversation.
Oh, Jean.
You know what I mean?
He was about to grab that gratin and
wait. Don't touch the belt. Don't touch the belt. Give me a second, Jean. Let me just holler at you real quick.
But he's actually, like, if you meet him, man of very few words, very calm and collected. He's like a do your own thing as long as it's good kind of thing. So,
but he turns into an assassin when he's pissed off, eh?
Sometimes. I never pissed him off.
Okay, that's a whole lot of bullshit right there. Okay, so talk to your parents.
So I told my mom first, I was like, yo, I don't know how to tell you this, but, I'm Muslim, right? And she was like, you still believe in God, right? You still, believe right from wrong and all this. I was like, yeah, of course. It's just like, I feel like this way is better for me getting to, the actual source and the facts of our own creator of God, so. And she was like, that's fine, that's okay. She's like, yeah, that's why.
That's incredible. What the hell?
She was like, the main thing for her is, especially, I don't know, her internal thoughts at the time, but seeing, the schools, how they were going, the ways they're going now, the atheism that's going on, she just wanted me to be grounded in God, right? So for me to tell her that, God is, that's the main thing. But now I found a better way for me to connect with him, right? And a better source and better, method for, pursuing this. She was happy. She was like, okay, that's great. I'm glad and I'm happy for you. Obviously, she was still shocked, right?
Of course.
And I told my dad in the next room, he was lying down. I was like, yo, Dad, I'm Muslim. And so he looks up, he's like, He's like, are you happy? I was like, yeah. I was like, you happy? You good? I was like, yeah. He's like, no one's making you do this? I was like, no way. I was like, you know me, I wouldn't let nobody push me around like that. And
come
he
on,
was like,
Jean's son. You know
yeah, he's like, okay, good. And then he went back to sleep.
Out of the multiple breasts off.
Yeah.
I'm debating in my mind, like, is your dad just very like open-minded, or does he just not give a fuck? He's like, all right, like,
it's just cool. Like, if you're handling your business, you know what you're doing and you're doing the right thing, he's fine, as long as he sees you straying into something, then he'll speak up. He'll be like, what are you doing?
I like that.
Your man's like your dad's like an 80s dad. Like,
he's like a Batman. Right. He's in the shadows. He's waiting for you to act up.
Bruce Wayne don't play games, bro.
That's great. It seems like your parents just cared about your, you having a concrete moral compass, and then them being
exactly. That's why I say, alhamdulillah. I've heard so many stories of reverts that get kicked out of their house, get assaulted, get all sorts of craziness that happened to them, but. Alhamdulillah for my parents,
Yeah, I met a couple of guys that it was a very similar story, and they're completely exiled, excommunicated from the entire family,
like John Wick,
and literally the whole thing. And I'm like, that's nuts, The fathers, they started going around telling people his son died, removed them out of his will. Allah knows how big that will was, anyways. But to go ahead and do all that for a lifestyle change because you feel like it's a better fit for you. It's a little weird how, we're supposed to accept everybody's views, but no one's allowed to accept ours.
Crazy.
It's a very interesting
world agenda.
Yeah. It's a very interesting dynamic.
They don't realize when you push them away extra, they're just going to get deeper into the Muslim community.
People want to know more.
Very interesting. What I mean? It's very interesting. Yeah. And I remember I'm like the first time I learned about what everybody's so afraid of, this one word that's terrifying to so many people, is Sharia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's so terrified of that word.
Sharia law.
You know what's
Sharia
crazy?
law. Oh my God.
You know what's crazy?
Sharia law.
They forget Arabic is a language. It's just a word, and the word means legislation. That's all it means.
Yeah. It's just like the law. Yeah, simple.
Say legislation here. Everyone's like, oh yeah, government. You say Sharia. Wow,
that's not democratic.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's nuts.
Sharia. Take that back to Pakistan.
Yeah,
man.
Exactly. Get out of here.
Where? Pakistan.
I thought I heard something.
Take that back to Kabul.
This guy's crazy. Last podcast, we're talking about KFC. And then he calls it.
Don't even lie. The videos are up. Don't even lie.
And I'm like, I know you're trying to. I told him, I know you're trying to trap me, bro. It's called something different, bro. You know what I mean? I know you're trying to get me to say what ain't happening.
It's crazy.
It's just very weird, bro. Because. I grew up saying it, you know what I mean? I grew up in the hood saying it the same with everybody else. I'm an Arab too, bro, you know? What does that mean to you guys? We're getting killed and slaved left and right anyways. Look at them, you know?
Yeah.
So
that's another thing, that whole word, everyone's so scared of it. And when you're so scared, you're giving so much power to it. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I just heard another video, like, you say that word in Africa, they don't know what you're talking about. No one cares over there. They haven't given it this sort of like, oh my gosh, you can't be saying this word around here because you might offend, this guy who's, 10 minutes away, he might come over here or anything like that. But over here, everyone's tiptoeing around it so much instead of just getting down to the root, just be like, okay, this word used to mean this. You're giving it power to mean it now.
Like they changed fag from cigarette to a gay guy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good comparison. I'm just saying with the word. I never made the word.
Yeah. You just change it.
I don't speak English.
Yeah.
It's because we're in such a liberal place, right? And so all these like stigmatized words. They hold so much power over here. And
you know what? Speaking of Africans, man, I'm super impressed what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Did you not hear what happened in Africa? The president
with the Russians?
Burkina Faso. No, it has nothing to do about Russians. The president of Burkina Faso, his name is Abraham. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, Traore or something like that. Anyways, he's a younger guy.
Mm-hmm.
And basically now he's making it a law where there's zero exporting of uranium or gold or anything like that to France and the European countries. One second.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy part is it's very good for them because a lot of times, what did we say? Africans only go back to Africa to die.
Yeah.
They leave the country to get educated, live. They only go back to pass away. So just a black man's graveyard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what did he say? There's like, yo, enough. We've made it. We've came to make a decision. It's either homeland or death.
Mm-hmm.
And so anybody that's European nationals, they're going to persecute if they don't leave. They have a window of opportunity to leave the country.
Yeah.
Because they're like, we're tired of you guys. It's the richest continent in the world in terms of resources and minerals.
Yeah.
Yet the poorest of people. And then I remember there was a good chart. I think France's largest reserves of gold are from the mines of Mali.
Oh, bro, they're snakes. France is getting paid by everybody, bro.
They have the mine. If they looked at the chart, it said they have 2,600 tons of gold reserve. France with 0 mines.
Yeah.
Mali has 860 mines, 0 tons of reserve gold for their own country. So then Burkina Faso, Niger, and
so
I think
many countries
another
came out
one
and said that they're done with this.
Yeah, so there's like I think 5 or 6 that said literally it's death, homeland or death. If you guys try to invade our lands, you have like 6 African continents that are now banding together and be like, listen, we're done from the white man's colonization.
Done paying the colonizers.
And the Europe,
just giving it right back to them. You get the resource and give it to them.
Big ups to them, man.
And for what? You know what I mean? Like it's actually, man, wow. Messed up, bro.
Big ups to them. You hear John F. Kennedy was saying, what is he gonna do? He's gonna demolish the CIA. Chop it up to 1,000 pieces and scatter it into the wind, and he got killed the next day.
And then he's gone.
Well, and let's be honest, the United States, what is it? It's a warmongering place.
How many times did he want to go to war when he was president? He's like, wait, what? Like, no, I don't want to do that. And they're like, no, we have to go to war. He's like, no.
It's crazy, man. I found it very interesting that,
a lot of beef.
I'm proud of them, man.
Finally, they're speaking up, doing something different about it.
Come on. Africans are strong. They're intelligent.
They have warriors at heart.
Listen, you're just confused, my friend. I can't help you.
This guy's mad, bro.
I can't do it with you.
He doesn't want me to be Arab. He doesn't want me to be African. He doesn't want me to be Mediterranean.
Pick one. Bro, David, talk to this guy, please.
Talk to me. Please. Let's talk about it.
Bring an exorcist or something. Bro.
This guy hates the fact that I'm Egyptian Moroccan. This guy hates it.
No.
Because he's like one day you're Arab. He's like one day you're African. I'm like, what? And then I mentioned that we have a Mediterranean diet. And he's like, oh, now you're Mediterranean.
Soon enough, he's going to be Greek, bro. You know what I mean? We have
got the different things going on there, bro. They got to come out.
I can't take it anymore, bro. We have feta cheese in Egypt. We're going to be Greek. You know what I mean?
Does that make any sense?
I'm tired of this, bro. Pick one. You're African, Arab, Greek,
you're
Mediterranean, Roman, inspired. Who are you?
A non-biased third party. Please.
How was Egypt, by the way? I don't want to talk to this
guy. Egypt was great. Alhamdulillah. The people, and obviously you see the food, delicious.
Be honest. Was kushari even that good?
It actually is, bro.
Yeah, you hate her?
What, you don't like it?
You're the one that said you don't like it.
Oh, you never had it.
Putting word in my mouth.
This guy doesn't know nothing, bro.
You can't explain it to somebody because then they think of all the individual pieces and then
it's weird because
they're like, what's going on here? But
lentils and pasta.
Yeah. You just have it, bro. Don't worry about what you do.
How's the barbecue? Real talk.
Amazing. My favorite food, tarb. Delicious.
You don't know nothing, but don't start smiling, bro. Bro, you're not even African, man.
This guy hates me, bro.
I don't hate this guy. I love this guy. I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, it's tough love, bro.
What is it called? Tarb?
Tarb, yeah. As well as hawarchi, I think. That's another one, another great dish.
Your wife is teaching you left and right, eh?
Oh, of course, bro.
You're not Haitian anymore.
Delicious.
Really, how much bread did you have when you were in Egypt, bro?
Yeah, these guys have bread with water over there.
Bro, I always tell people this, like even like French fries in a sandwich. Like this in a sandwich.
Listen, I got in
bro.
debates.
Everything is a sandwich.
I got in debates with people with this French fries in a sandwich thing. I was like, what are you doing, bro? And
crispy?
I don't care if it's crispy with a pita.
Why are you putting in a bread? Why are you putting in a sandwich?
They put pita bread and they put some fries in there.
I know.
Bro. They call it a sandwich.
I mean, every net you go to has these like little stands you have this, and it's like, what? Why?
And then when I tell them about a burrito where they put rice, in the beans and stuff.
Then
they're like, rice? Oh. They're like, why would you put rice in the thing? I'm like, what are you guys going? I'm like, what's going on over here?
Oh my god, the funniest thing.
Because even the shawarma in Egypt is a little different, bro. Like if you go like the street stands, it's literally like a bunch of beef and like maybe some peppers or whatever, but like in the sandwich.
So if you want to do a carnivore diet, Egypt's the place.
Egypt, but you're gonna get a lot of bread, bro. There's a lot of bread. They
actually will bring you a plate this thick with a barbecue with it.
Listen, if I'm on vacation, why am I there to diet?
Best thing in Egypt, for me personally, is whenever you go to buy meat or fish, there's a barbecue like thing attached to the meat shop or the fish shop. So whenever you buy your fish, they'll barbecue it. And then you'll take it back barbecued. You should have that here, bro. I'd rather a butcher and then like a barbecue at the same place.
They do.
Where?
It's in Orleans. It's the place is called George's Meat
Oh,
Shop.
I mean, like it should be a standard. Like in Egypt, it's like a standard.
And
like every shop has.
It's called Charcoal Boys. You know what I mean? They'll do your stuff there. And
I just like everything halal over there. You know,
it's so much, you can't beat that, bro.
Easy. So much better just having that. You know.
How was Medina? Did you go to Medina?
Yeah, of course. Medina, beautiful. You know, so peaceful. You know, so much history. You know, the Sirah. You just walk around and you'll see all these little pieces of stuff you'd read in the books. You know,
that's great.
It was next level.
Did you visit the pyramids and stuff?
Yeah, of course. Rode a camel.
No way. There you go.
Did they finesse you at the pyramids, or did your wife tell them?
Of course. No, they finessed me. I remember I was going through. They have like some.
Bro, the worst is going through the gates. The kids are there.
They have some checkpoint you have to go through. Obviously, make sure you don't have like a gat on you when you go in or anything.
Because no one else does, eh?
Yeah, I know. But then like the main thing they're checking is what type of ticket you got. So there's obviously a foreigner ticket and
there's a finesse ticket or non-finesse ticket, bro.
So it's 3 times the price, right?
For sure.
We just got at the time it was my wife and her family and I. We went, so we got a couple of just the national ticket, no problem. We're going through, boom, boom, boom. We give the tickets. I go through. Some guy starts yelling something in Arabic. I'm like, yo, bro, chill out. Yo, I'm trying to go through. Yeah, he's like, where are you from? Where are you from? I was like, chill out. You know, and then he actually stopped me. He's like, boom. I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, who's putting his hands on me, bro?
I'm Haitian.
Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, I'm like, what's happening around here? These guys don't know about, being politically correct or nothing.
Zero. That is not existing.
What's up, bro? I'm the real,
But his coworkers were nice, They didn't want anybody, over there, they don't want anybody to have a bad time, They don't want anyone causing no trouble. So they're like, I'm sorry about the guy. But I did pay the extra for the extra ticket. But to be honest,
you still got
what is it for us?
You're paying pennies, bro.
Yeah, what is it for us really?
What is the exchange? I think it's like 14 or 15 times right now.
Right now, no, it's like 20 something.
So it's even worse.
To one Canadian.
Is there heavily relied on tourists?
Partially.
Lebanon is
most of it. Yeah.
Egypt does a lot of export.
Mm-hmm.
Like we export, Egypt exports agriculture to Canada. You know what I mean? Like we export a lot. Like even like Egyptian cotton and stuff like that. There's a lot that comes out of Egypt.
But mainly tourism, obviously the pyramids and everything.
Yeah. Did you go to Zaytun?
What's that?
Zaytun's a neighborhood in Cairo.
Up, bro. That's it.
He's talking about my neighborhood in Cairo.
It's just stressed always act different. Like,
where are you from? To his block just
I'm from Ottawa, right?
Yeah,
if foreign guy asks you where I'm from, he says I'm from Ottawa.
How many abandoned buildings do you see in Egypt?
Zero.
That's another crazy one. This is my second time actually.
Bro, we're talking about zero. Let him tell you like how many.
Clean that all up years ago.
Half abandoned, half built. Like,
you know what I'm saying? What are you talking about?
Yo, my neighborhood in Zaytun.
Yeah.
Bro, it's like mud buildings, bro. Like it's just like half abandoned, half built. Some of them are like not built, but people live in there.
No, bro. Why you gotta? You know what? See, this is how you know you're not in sales.
You got packs of dogs. You got those. You got those giant packs of dogs that are like doing their thing.
Those ones. That's why. Bro. Mainly for me, this was the second time I went, but the first time I went, the culture shock was crazy. You know, to be honest, I never even left Canada until that trip, and then I went across the world to go to Egypt. Wild. So I was like, what's going on around here? I see dogs running around the place. I'm seeing, cats chilling.
Yeah, the Pharaoh's guards. I would have sold that as the Pharaoh's guards.
Bro, these guys move in squads.
The mud houses, I would have been like, this is heritage.
You go to sleep, bro, you're hearing gang wars outside with the dogs fighting for territory.
That's why they're building a new Cairo. Like they're building a new Cairo.
It's pretty nice when I drove by it. It's pretty nice.
Don't call them mud houses, bro. They say they're heritage buildings, bro.
Heritage buildings, yeah. Protect the buildings. You know where Egypt fucked up? They built the buildings and they built the roads. You know what I mean? So like the roads are fucked. Like there's no.
I heard things about like how that whole thing went down that was less than optimal.
Yeah.
As I have to go back, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'll be.
Where would you go next, anyways, destination wise?
Like just to travel?
Yeah.
I'm trying to go to Malaysia.
Oh, you're gonna have an amazing time. No, fam.
I heard great stuff.
If you feel like you got a little big from Egypt, just go to Malaysia. You're gonna get.
I'm trying to go to Malaysia.
Bro, fried fish every morning. They eat a lot.
He's coming to the gym with us. What are you talking about?
Next time I'm bringing the workout material with me there.
Well, that's what's
Abraham Lincoln went to Malaysia for like 6 months.
Yeah.
My brother, and he's usually like in incredible shape. This guy went there, came back like 20 pounds heavier. Of course,
bro.
Came back with a belly.
Yeah.
None of us could believe it. I've never seen him look like that.
I'm never going, bro. I worked this hard to start getting rid of it, bro. I'll blow up like a balloon.
You're not gonna go over there.
I look like that guy from Finding Nemo.
The Muslim movie is huge.
The blowfish.
You have such amazing stuff in Malaysia.
Really?
Like I've heard great.
I've heard a lot about it. Maybe for me is the the Muslim population. I heard it's amazing.
Indonesia is the same in terms of Muslim population, no?
Malaysia is like hectic, bro.
Yeah. Is Indonesia up there too?
I think so.
Yeah.
We're giants in Malaysia, eh?
Really?
Like over there, they're all like 5'6", 5'7". So when you're like over 6 foot, they're just like
when you're over 6 foot,
you're like a mega person to them. You know, like They're very tiny people.
You know what? I'll tell you right now, one of the nicest places in the world, and I'm not even saying it because I'm from there, bro, is Lebanon.
Anyways.
Unbelievable, bro.
Did you go to Alexandria, bro?
Don't listen to this guy, bro.
Did you go to Alexandria?
This guy's a confused Egyptian. He thinks he's Greek, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh, Alexandria. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, it's clean.
I thought you said Scandinavia, bro. I don't know why I heard that.
Alexandria, bro.
Alexandria, yeah. We went to the north coast, you know, chill by the water for a couple of days. It was very blessed. The water, bluest water you'll ever see.
Oh, you guys went like north, like Ismailia, like do you know where?
Nah,
like the Swiss Canal area.
All I know, they called it like 46 kilometers from Alexandria.
But towards like the east, like up towards where like Philistine is.
Just say yes, bro. Just say yes.
Northwest. Okay, sick.
Just say yes.
Saw some nice mountains.
I was trying to think. I had to bring up the map in my head.
It's different because where you went is like there's like nice like separate bodies of water. And like mountains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about.
It was very nice. It was very nice.
Bro, go to Lebanon next. I'm telling you, it's incredible, bro.
I was thinking of doing it. Maybe.
Like everywhere in the world, any place in the world that you'd like to see in Europe, literally you can find a pocket in Lebanon that looks like that, bro. One of the nicest places I think in Lebanon is Jbail. It's called I think it's called Byblos in English. Okay. It's called Jbail in Arabic.
Yeah.
No, Lebanon's beautiful, bro.
It's unbelievable, bro. Go to Saida, you'll see the old ruins. Baalbek, you'll see as if that was like the old. Because Baalbek used to be what? It was the old ancient god. Because remember, it was Phoenicia. Any labs, please don't say you're Phoenician, bro. That shit's done. Please.
Assyrian. I'm Assyrian.
Bro, come on.
Oh my
Forget
god.
About it. I'm sick and tired of this, bro. It doesn't even make any sense.
Bro, you don't know how many Arabs
I mean?
We'll meet Arabs. And where are you from? And they're like, oh yeah, like I'm Assyrian. I'm Phoenician.
Yeah,
what are you talking? You mean you're from Iraq?
No, I don't care about the Assyrian part, bro. I'm sticking to my own people. Don't tell me you're Phoenician, bro. Brother, we're not Phoenician. It's like going to the Swiss, like the Swedes, and be like, yo, you guys Vikings?
Yeah.
No, bro. What are you talking about?
Go to someone who's from Iran and saying you're Persian.
Yeah.
The empire's gone, bro.
Yeah, exactly. That was a long time ago.
This guy's getting killed in the comments for that one, bro. I'm sticking to the left. I'll go down for that one, you know?
Come on, fam. Go to the Turkish and ask them if they're Ottomans, bro. Or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they'll tell you, for sure.
You know what I mean? What do you mean? It's only been 100 years. But the crazy part is if you go to Lebanon, man, first of all, they have one of the 7 wonders of the world. It's called, it's a grotto. It's called Mgharta Jaita.
I thought it was shawarma.
Huh?
I thought it was shawarma.
No.
I thought it was one of the 7 wonders?
No, bro.
Well, I'm confused.
I see the shot you're trying to take. Stick to your kushari, my Greek friend. You know what I mean?
He's Greek. Listen, bro.
Don't listen to this Greek guy, bro. He's corrupt.
This guy, bro, see, this is the Lebanese in him, bro. He always has to, look, the topic of discussion was Egypt, Dunya, wasn't it? That's what we were talking about.
Why'd you say Dunya? What does that have to do with
Dunya, bro?
No, it's not, bro.
This guy had to throw
the Pharaoh persecuted people,
bro. But come on, fam. It doesn't have to be about Lebanon all the time.
No, what do you mean? I love Egyptians. Bro. You know what? The only thing one of the reasons I'm talking about Lebanon is because you're talking about where he's going to go next. Okay, and labs aren't the originator.
I think you got to stick to North Africa, bro. Go to Morocco. You know what I mean? Maybe check out.
You know what? You got to go around the place. You know, you got to run your horizon.
Sierra Leone, Cape Town. Those are nice,
actually,
bro.
Cape Town, bro. No, shark attacks. Stick up north. You know.
No, I'm not a.
I'm trying to actually go surfing, bro.
You nuts?
Why you?
I'm land and air, bro.
What's going on?
I don't touch the water, bro.
No, bro. I learned how to.
Yo, I go. You know,
after a while, I learned how to snowboard. I'm doing all these extra
things. Bitten off by a shark,
bro. I saw some kid get killed in Egypt. Some shark ate him.
A shark?
I think it was like the Dead Sea. Yeah, or Dead Sea or Red Sea.
Sharks gotta eat, bro. Sharks gotta eat too.
No, it was actually sad. Like these guys were filming him, and this guy's like yelling.
Oh, they're filming him.
Is that the guy that was fighting him, the Russian dude?
Yeah, he was like yelling for his dad.
Damn.
And the shark starts murking him. And he end up catching the shark and he take his body out of the shark.
Yeah.
But this guy was like yelling for his dad while the shark. And
bro,
shark attacks don't happen in Egypt.
That's
like
PTSD,
ever.
Bro.
There's never a shark attack in Egypt. So this happening was
turning into a
rare.
conspiracy theory.
No, it's not.
Stay tuned,
guys. It's just rare. It's just very rare. Usually there's never any shark attacks. None of that stuff happens.
They told me that before I was chilling in the water, bro.
You like the water, bro?
Sometimes.
Bro, I'll tell you right now, if I go to Egypt, I'm going to jump in the ocean, bro. After what he just said, I'm going to be in there like the final samurai, bro. I'm going in there with a fucking sword.
You know what, though? There's a lot of very clear bodies of water, especially like around Alexandria, or even just pools of water, like towards where he was saying he went, that you'd be trilling. You know, and the Dead Sea is
you'll
just
see the shark before it gets
water,
you,
right? So like, there's not going to be like sharks in there going crazy.
You know what's incredible? Speaking of the Dead Sea,
you
know, they found, I don't want to say recently, I don't remember when, but I read a very interesting article that I like history. You know what I mean? Because if you study history, it rhymes a lot. They say it repeats itself, but it rhymes because obviously technology and the people change, right? So it can't be exactly the same. Anyways, they found remnants of the old Sodom and Gomorrah city in the Dead Sea.
Really?
You know what I mean? So
That's
the old
crazy.
Christian story or Muslim story, and I think it's in the Torah too.
Yeah.
The Sodom and Gomorrah city is literally in the Dead Sea, bro.
Yeah.
So they found, I think, pillars and columns and like a civilization underneath. Because remember, nothing lives there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not supposed to be there.
So I was very interesting, and it's crazy how we talk about the signs, and you were talking about signs, and people still don't believe.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh, it literally said in the book 1,400 years ago. What would Muhammad know about the Pharaoh 1,400 years ago? You know what I mean? In that place where he was.
Exactly.
And how God was going to preserve the Pharaoh, and then for the rest of the world to see, but they still won't heed the signs. And then out of nowhere, the Pharaoh comes to be. And think about it, bro. This guy was underwater for what, 4,000 years, 3,000 years? Because he was in the time of Moses.
And his body's like pretty much intact. Like
completely preserved. Water, he had in the water in the lungs, dirt.
Well, they said they'll preserve it for a sign for everybody.
Incredible,
right?
bro.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? That was a very incredible phenomenon. I think that was in the 80s or something like that.
So subhanAllah, bro. You revert to Islam, meet your wife, you go to Egypt, gain some weight, good food, come back. What do you do? Like what do you do here? You know, what's
like for work?
Yeah.
So I have I day trade for a living, right? So I trade stocks. I also set up a company with Omar. You guys know him. He's had an episode here, Donny Fat Cat.
Donny
that's my boy.
Fat Cat.
We met through a mutual friend at the masjid. Right. So I knew this guy, his name's Abdullah. He's still working with us as a junior trader now, but he saw the potential that it has, and I guess the business person he knew was Omar, right? So he's like, Omar, I know this guy, he can help you, increase the bread, and help you out in that way. So we set up a meeting, and we met at the masjid. He was like, first he wanted to test it out a bit, you know what I mean? He wanted to see what I could do with my my trading skills. So he gave me a little bit of money. He's like, okay, do what you got to do. He gave it to me. He went to Egypt actually. And the profits that he made off of that paid off for his whole trip. Right? So he came back, he was sold. He was like, yo, let's do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this is for Omar?
Yeah.
By the way, treat me like a dummy. When it comes to stocks and all that, I'm more of a tangible guy building businesses. I really don't understand much about stocks.
Okay, fair enough. Well, people ask me questions about stocks that also aren't in my realm, right? So the thing that a lot of people don't know, that there's so many different types of ways to trade, invest in stocks, and just interact with the market, right? So just to explain what I do, I'm a day trader, right? So what that means is I will enter a position, close my position. It could take 10 seconds. It could take up to an hour, 2 hours, but I'm never holding overnight, right? So a lot of people, what they're scared with the stock market is, okay, what if the company goes bankrupt? When I tell them I'm a day trader, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I'm not holding it overnight. I'm not going to lose all my money from a company going bankrupt overnight, right? All of the money is taken out of my position and put back into my broker account by the end of the day. So it really has nothing to do with me, what the future plans of a company is. You know what I mean?
Pitch me like a customer too. Like,
but doesn't that affect your day trade too? Because I know day trading is the most stressful and the riskiest of all the day trade, all trading.
Yeah. So I've been doing this for I think about 6 years now.
Yeah.
Okay, going on 6 years. It is very stressful. It's very mentally taxing at your beginning.
Yeah.
Right. After you go through, they call it the learning curve, right? There's learning curve in everything, but it's so rigorous in trading because once you're wrong, you're gonna feel the financial consequences for that immediately.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're wrong, you're gonna lose, and depending on how good you're able to lose, is also gonna dictate how much you're gonna lose, right?
So do you have a budget that you start with, and then kind of a window that you want to hit?
Yeah. So the way that it works for me, I have daily goals, monthly goals, and yearly goals usually.
Yeah.
Right. So I set them up at the beginning of the year. I set them up. As things develop, I'll tweak it along the way. You know what I mean? And this year, alhamdulillah, has been a very good year. We've been able to beat our goals 3 months in advance, 4 months in advance. It's been very good, right? Especially after meeting Omar, we've been able to exponentially increase, our pool, as well as how I'm able to trade and, make profits off of that. But
why was Omar such a key factor for that?
So for him,
Donny Fat Cat, I only call him Omar.
You only call him that?
I'm just so used to Donny Fat Cat.
That's okay. So for him, or for me and any trader that's really getting started off, the main issue is people see his capital, right? Now that I'm on the other side, I see how capital actually isn't the main factor when it comes to your trading. It's your mentality when it comes to that, right? So a lot of people, they think they need 10,000, they need, 20,000 just to get started. Technically, you could start with as low as I think 2,500 or something.
It's a margins game though, right? Like if you get if you go up by like 2%, with like $100, it's nothing compared to if you had 100K.
Of course, yeah. It also depends on your account size.
Yeah.
But for when you're trading, the way that it works is based off of risk management. Okay. Yeah. So we're trading patterns and, reoccurring themes that happen in the market.
Explain that. Like I said, treat me like a dummy.
Of course. So over the year that the stock market has been around, it's just the constant buying and selling between people, right? So it's just like your average marketplace. It depends. Two groups need to come together to agreement of when they're going to buy, how much they're going to buy, how much they want to sell, how much they're going to sell for, right?
Right.
Because of this, there's a human factor in it, right? There's human psychology as to how a stock is going to move based on what's going on, right?
Like company mergers, acquisitions.
Exactly. Everything like this. The main, the most common ones are like earning reports, as well as, inflation now is playing a bigger role with each report that comes out. Inflation, consumer price index. That just means how comfortable people are with spending their money, right? So these guys have all sorts of reports that they're releasing, every week. And that's going to influence, the market in that day and, sometimes week and month. For day traders, we are looking for something that's called a stock in play, pretty much. So we need to find a stock that's trading with enough people that it's above usual. You know what I mean? So a lot of people are looking at a stock.
What do you mean above usual, by the way?
So each stock is different. Like if you look at a Tesla stock, they could, get easily 2 million shares traded before the market opens at 9:30. For them, that's normal. For 98% of the other stocks, if they get 2 million shares traded, that's something crazy. That's something, incredible, because it's telling you that people are actually interested in that stock and they're actually buying and selling the shares, right? So once you see that sort of difference, that there's more people watching it. And like I said, because we're trading off of human psychology, we need there to be a lot of humans trading it, right? So once we find a stock that has a lot of, clout, a lot of energy, action, people are looking at it, we know that for the most part, they're going to demonstrate some sort of pattern. So it's up to us as day traders to find that pattern and execute our trades based off that and get out of the trade fast.
What's the time window for you to figure that part out?
So it depends. It depends on the person. Some people, they'll start looking at stocks at 7:30. Me, especially when I was in Egypt, I was looking at like 9 o'clock, because now it's so much down to like muscle memory. I know where I'm plotting, different things on the charts, what I'm looking for.
So what I mean is, how you said that they're producing patterns based on the volatility.
Mm-hmm.
How long of a window do you have to figure out what that pattern is?
I guess so the market's open, like 8 to 4, like 9 to 5 kind of thing. What is it?
As it can't be like you have 24 hours to study what the stock is doing. It's like you have to go in.
If you're a day trader, you have seconds to analyze this thing.
Interesting.
Sometimes even less. Me, I specialize in the opening, right? So 9:30 on the dot, most volatile time of the day. That's what I specialize in. And, understanding why is the price moving like this, how it's moving, and trying to catch my best setup and catch that move, right?
Is there anything AI related today that helps in that, or is it strictly just skills?
So that's what's interesting now. Actually, now that with the rise of AI, a lot of people are looking on how they can sort of implement that into day trading. I think it's good, but it's a long way from, being perfected to trade like a real trader, right? The reason I say that is because there is, and there has been things called algorithmic trading that's been around for a while. Someone can make up a code and say like, okay, if the stock does this, automatically just trade it like this, right? And then they'll just leave it, and then every time it comes up, it'll do it. The only problem I see with the AI and how we're trading is that it still has to have that human instinct, that human judge, It's still a computer at the end of the day, and I know like each day it's evolving, and I don't know, how smart they're going to get before someone tries to shut them down, like Elon Musk is saying, like, don't let them develop so much,
I would be very shocked if they can come up with an AI that can completely crush that market, for the fact that it would cause a lot of issues.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But that's why it's interesting, because even the market I trade is the New York Stock Exchange, right? Because it's the most volatile. Most people in the world are going to trade that one. But they have a lot of security features, in place.
They have to.
You can't skyrocket the stock up without it coming down eventually.
The whole state's collapsed on that,
exactly.
Right? So
because they didn't have those safety factors in place before, like the crash of 2008, people could just short the stock and make it go to zero. Everyone can pull out their money, and then it would cause a collapse of the stock exchange.
I always found shorting stocks concept is a very interesting concept.
Yeah,
I had to get somebody to explain it like 3 times.
Big trader or like some big, I don't even know, some big name. Then you just put like a couple $1 billion in shorting the SQ like 500 or something like that.
I saw the opposite. I thought he said he was calling.
He was shorting it.
Yeah, he was calling the stock as the exchanges get a collapse or something like that.
But yeah, he shorted it.
Yeah, for 1.6
and like
billion.
no one's ever shorted that. Like
For 1.6
that
billion.
crazy,
Yeah.
you mean that much?
That much money, and like also like that index. I'm pretty sure it's an index.
Oh, okay.
Does that play into a factor? Because the way I look at it, you obviously correct me if I'm wrong, because I want to give context to the viewers, right?
Of course.
What I always used to think about stocks, okay, sometimes you get lucky. Like I only called 2 stocks in my life, and that was the Pokemon one.
Yeah.
Buy low, sell high, baby. That's
because
it.
I'm like, I saw what was happening, and I'm like, man, this is going to be incredible. And Apple years and years and years ago.
Yeah.
When Apple skyrocketed, I think it went up to like $500-600. Everybody bought for like $180, $200. But the way I always used to view stocks is you have guys like Warren Buffett, and these large, they're not even fishes, they're whales. They're not sharks, they're whales. They're huge.
Yeah.
And he has, I think it's called Berkshire and Hathaway.
Yeah.
And he has 2 different tiers, one that's like 50 G's or 100 grand a share, and one that's like, but I always used to view it as, I feel like all these whales control it completely. You can think it's going to go one way, but in reality, these $1 trillion money, BlackRock, Vanguard, all these other guys,
100%. There's no,
and then I didn't understand at some point, people started trading based on tweets.
Yeah.
I'm like, what happened to the logic?
When Tesla started coming, that's one of the biggest things.
Tweets is news, bro. So it's news.
No, I know, but I'm saying like at some point it was all basically pushing a news narrative. You know what I mean? And there's no more logics in terms of where the chart is looking,
just
the
sends a
candles,
tweet and someone just goes long based on it.
Yeah, the SEC got involved. It was like, yo, stop tweeting shit because you're fucking up the market. Like the SEC actually got involved, and he's like, what? Like I can say whatever the hell I want.
Which
is true, but
it's Ali Musk. You know what I mean? So Ali Musk is gonna do whatever.
But you're right, bro. These gargantuan whales,
trillions.
These guys like they have influence on legislation, bro. So obviously they have influence on the market. They can do whatever the hell they want.
But that's why it's interesting, and that's one of the reasons why I picked day trading.
So why do you like it so much, day trading, compared to like
when I went to Egypt,
holding?
I could trade. And as long as you have an internet connection, and there's ways on Amazon, you can get a portable internet thing. You just pay. You get 5 gigs in Africa, all of Africa. Nice. Wherever you go, you can have 5 gigs of internet, up to 100. Like you can buy whatever you want.
You got the Vodafone? The USB plug-in?
How this trash was the Wi-Fi, bro? And the Greek peninsula of Egypt, bro. This guy's Greek.
The internet,
it's overpriced.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're paying a lot for Wi-Fi, especially the portable Wi-Fi. They give you like a...
Mine is actually pretty good.
Stick.
You just search up. It's called like G Local or something. It's actually pretty good. Yeah. For mine, and
I was using Vodafone when I was out there.
More of a day trader than you two right now.
There you go. But I was using that plug-in.
Ours was a plug-in, or mine isn't plug-in. It's literally just like a brick, pretty much, and you
like
just
a Wi-Fi hotspot.
Yeah, exactly, and it's actually pretty fast. But
Sick.
The only problem in Egypt is all the buildings are made of concrete, bro. So you gotta throw that brick outside,
heritage,
so you can get a good signal. But
so continue on the stock. So what difference? So what do you do? Let's say I'm a guy that's looking to invest money, right? What's the difference of going with you instead of give me an example of like a big firm or something?
I don't know, like the firms that you mentioned earlier with Warren Buffett.
Anyways, like Chase and all these other guys that have
Chase
like
isn't a
crazy
firm.
Or whatever. I know they have. Like I said, I don't know anything. I'm just chucking a name.
Of course.
Those guys,
I'm throwing shit on the wall and see what sticks.
See what's going on.
Those banks offer like different accounts where they, I guess, trade for you. What are they called again? You can open up a TFSA, and then like in the TFSA, you can.
Anyways, you go
some
to a
sort of
different
investing one. Yeah.
You know what I mean? What separates you?
So the main thing,
from them?
When you're investing in a lot of those banks and big companies, you're investing that they'll take your money and they'll put it in ETF, and they'll let it sit. Right?
What's ETF? Remember, I don't know dick.
So it's pretty much like a basket.
Cut that last word out.
It's a basket of stocks.
Mutual funds.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll have a basket of different stocks. So like if you invest $100, let's say, your money will get divided into different parts to buy different amounts of shares of different companies.
Did you catch that?
What?
When you're explaining the basket of stocks and he says mutual funds because I know what a mutual fund is.
Yeah.
I don't know what a mutual fund is.
Okay, so
I'm asking specific questions. Let me put my glasses back.
This is as simple as possible.
Elon Musk, there's a chip here, bro. So I'm
bank
downloading information.
Bank gives you two options. Option one, investor account. You pick your stocks. You do your own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Option two is mutual funds. You give us the money. We'll put you in a low risk, a medium risk, or a high risk mutual funds. Mutual funds is in.
Why do we have this guy here if he's not going to explain it?
This is just I'm just a regular guy explaining it. He's going to give you like
you
the
don't know
actual.
nothing. Go ahead.
Exactly. So low risk, medium risk, high risk mutual funds, where they invest your money in whatever stocks they deem, and then you get a return or you lose money.
So how do you know what's low risk, medium risk, high risk?
They tell you that the stocks.
So those guys, they have analysts. They'll
continue here.
So those people, they'll have analysts that are examining what's going on. You know, they'll see like high risk before it was Tesla. You know, like Tesla would go up $20 in a day. You know, go down $20 in a day.
Is that that's big high numbers? $20
for yeah, of course. So usually, depending on the price of a stock, there's normally something that's called the average true range, right? So that just means how much is it on average moving in a day, right? So it could be $1, $2, $5, but Tesla moving $20 in a day is something that's crazy.
Bro, that's why he was telling you like capital is like a big thing because a lot of these traders.
I can't stare at you when you're not wearing the glasses.
A lot of these traders.
I have more respect for you as soon as you put those on. Wow. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, teacher.
Sir, yes, sir.
I'm listening.
Because it's a margins game, a lot of these traders have huge funding where stocks go up by pennies, bro. A couple cents.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll trade, like they'll buy it in at like $1.10 and then they'll sell it at $1.12. But they'll have made 500,000 or 300,000 because of how much capital they have in the fund.
Okay, makes sense.
That's why if you're at a low number, bro, it's riskier and like you there's not a lot of money to be made. But like these big, huge firms with like crazy amount of funds, 2 cents.
So then do you do low, medium, high risk as well? How does that work for you guys?
Well, so
once again, let's continue on you.
Yeah. Oh, like myself trading, let's say. So for me, the way that I do it is I know what stocks I trade best and what, you know, price range I trade best, as well as, you know, what price, as well as what time of the day I know best. I stick to that time, those stocks only, right? The reason I say this is because once it comes down to day trading, it's different than your long-term investing that you do with those banks, right? So he was explaining, you'll give them the money, they'll distribute it into the stocks that they deem necessary, and they'll leave it, right?
Is there a guaranteed return on that though? Like
no,
do they say like we'll give you back?
No, they'll never, because when they do that, they're essentially just saying, okay, let it run.
There's no such thing as a guaranteed return.
Yeah. Ever since Bernie Madoff and shit.
Yeah, it's illegal to guarantee return on stocks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like going to a roulette table and you're throwing it, fam. Except the difference is like with stocks, there's a lot of back history. So you can do the research, look at the news, and then throw it on the roulette table. As opposed to a roulette table just spinning and you throw it.
So then if they were to do these, what did you call them? EFTs? Is that what you called them? ETFs,
yeah.
What is a typical return on it? Or return on investment? What's an ROI on that?
Those guys would probably give you, like, if you're talking to like the banks and those big guys, probably
they'll give you a portfolio. They'll give you like some paperwork to show
2%, 5%.
Okay.
I haven't seen probably more than like 8%. They'll return to you after a year or after, you know, however long you want to put it in, right? But the thing with those ones as well, once you invest in those ones, you're also giving up power of, you know, how you're going to manage it, right? So if that stock is going to collapse and it's collapsing for 2 months, you can't pull it and, you know, redistribute it to another stock that's going up. You know, you have to ride the wave and you got to deal with it, right? So I know some people that they invested before the pandemic, right? They lost all their money. It went down. It started to recover. And you know how many times it started to recover, looks good, and then it dumps even lower, right?
Exactly.
When you're invested in those sort of things, you have no power over if you're going to take it out, right? You just leave it and you lose. And then after, you know, like 3-4 years, you're just getting back to break even.
That's nuts.
You know what I mean?
So then what do you guys do?
So as day traders, the main thing is that we're picking our stocks fresh each day, right? We're injecting our amount of shares in. We're riding the wave that we want. Once we get to our projected target that we want, we're taking it out and we're done.
And then the day's closed.
Done. Yeah.
Interesting.
if we get down, there's something, the main thing that has to do with day trading is called risk management, right? So what that means is the amount that I'm willing to lose will always be in relation to how much I'm aiming to gain in the day, right? So let's say I'm aiming to, or I don't want to lose more than, let's say, $100, right? I don't want to lose $100 in a day, but in the day, I'm aiming for at least $300 to gain.
These are just hypothetical examples.
Hypothetical, yeah. So what that is, it's called like a 3-to-1 risk to reward, right? So I'm okay. I'm fine with losing 100 today, 100 tomorrow, 100 the day after, because on, Thursday, maybe I meet my goal and I've erased all of those losses.
Okay.
Right?
So how do you stop that from going to the below more than $100?
So there's a lot of things, like the market's very versatile. You can set up like specific orders, like you get in at like say $10. If you don't want the price to go below $9 and you to keep holding it, you could put an automatic order that at $9, get me out of there.
What do they call those stop losses?
That one is called the stop loss. Yeah.
Stop loss?
Yeah. So you could put your stop loss at $9, and once the price gets there, it will automatically fill your orders and get you out of there.
Interesting.
So there are ways to do it, but when you're day trading, even when you hit your loss, this is why it's so interesting to me, and it's sort of like a battle each day, because I could lose 4 battles. I just need to win 1 to wipe them out and be profitable.
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
How many are you at this point in terms of traders?
So
such an interesting term to say.
So in our company traders right now, we have me as the main lead trader, but we have 2 junior traders right now. So they're not trading any real funds right now. They're practicing, honing their skills, because again, this game is such a mental game. It's not about the market being, like a gambling place, about the market doing this. Trading is about you and you alone, right? The reason I say that is because before you get into the market, you should be practicing in something that's called a simulator. What it does is just, it downloads the data of what the market did before and just replays it to you. So once it replays, you can backtest your ideas.
Interesting.
So you can backtest a year ago, see what the market was then, backtest your ideas, see how profitable I would have been if I bought 100 shares at this time, see what's going on. Before any of our traders go live and before any of my students go live, I'll get into that a bit.
Yeah.
Before anyone goes live, they need to have proven that 1, their strategy and their playbook is profitable and it makes sense for them. Okay. So before, I've heard a lot of people that would say like, oh man, I was in the simulator 3 months and then I went live and I just kept losing. So I'll be like, okay, produce for me your journal. Let me see, what were you doing in the simulator that you're not doing now? Show me what, types of trades you were taking in the simulator that were giving you money, and show me what are you doing now that's not giving you money, because there shouldn't be a stark difference if you're trading the exact same in both scenarios.
Right? I guess one scenario is fake money. The other one, they have emotional attachment
exactly.
to their own money.
So that emotional attachment is what makes the difference. So everybody says, yeah, I'm great in the simulator, I'm ready to go live. But nobody, or the misconception is like a lot of people haven't done the mental work it takes to go live. You get what I'm saying?
Interesting.
So once they go live and they see the money is on the table, the blood pressure starts to rise, the sweat starts trickling down the head.
Different.
Exactly. It's tough, especially at the beginning, because, people, they don't have that sort of emotional disconnect with their account balance, right? So I say that a lot, that me now, I could be looking at my, my profit and loss, and I could be down 1,000, 2,000, doesn't matter to me. Like emotionally, I know like, okay, I'm keeping it at an odds game. I could lose 3 times. I could lose 2,000, 2,000, 2,000. Doesn't matter, because on one of my trades, I can aim for 10. You know what I mean? And I'll still be up profitable.
So do you look at it in a monthly term?
I look at it.
You can't look at it
daily and monthly. Yeah. So daily, the way it works, the example I give for all of my students is just go with $100. Okay. Let's say in the day you're aiming for $100 profit. What you're looking to lose per trade, it should only be like $20, $25, right? So what that means is you get in a trade, it starts going either way, right? You're aiming for the 100, it gets 100, good, alhamdulillah, close it out and get out. If you start going down, as soon as you get down to that minus 25, close your position, take it out, right?
Makes sense.
Because the thing with us is you're just trying to live another day and trade another day. Because as long as you can make it to another day, you can make back your losses and you can make more. But the issue that a lot of people have is once they're losing those ones, the emotions kick in, right? So it's always, they say the two emotions is fear or greed. Those are the ones that are taking over when you're trading, right? So it actually works backwards. Once you're up and you're winning money, that's when, you know, your greed kicks in. You're like, oh, I could just close it right now and I'm taking this, even though your profit target's long away. You know what I mean? And once you're down, your fear kicks in and it actually causes you to do the opposite of what you think. People don't close their positions out early. They let it run, right? It's something that we call holding the bag. The bag's trying to drown you and you're losing, but you're sort of in your mind trying to be the optimist, saying that, oh, you know, it's going to come back up. It's going to bounce. It's going to do this. And bro, you're just holding it.
This sounds like me at Lac Lamy, bro. It sounds like me like.
And you're just going to hold it.
Like you're going gambling, eh?
Bro, what are you talking about? This is like years ago. Bro.
So that's why it's interesting that you bring up the gambling thing, because it's all a mindset. You know, it's all a mindset of how you're approaching the trading. And I've had many people that I'm teaching how to trade. And once they come to me with that, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm making money and then suddenly I've lost it and I'm down and I'm losing a lot of money. What's going on here? Right? I'll sit down with them and I'll ask them about, you know, what's your thought process to them? And if there's a dangerous thing, like most of my students are Muslims. So if they're telling me they're getting stuck in this sort of mentality, like, oh, you know, like I lost this, but like, you know, I'm hungry, I'm greedy, I want to get back up, I want to do this. Then they start slipping into the gambling side. You know what I mean? They're not talking about, okay, I'm going to wait for a good setup, I'm going to do this. They're just executing trades to execute trades, if you know what I mean.
Makes sense.
They're going in with the all or nothing mindset. You know, that gambling mindset that I'm going to throw it on the table, whatever happens, happens. And
the strategic point has to be there at all times.
It has to, always. Every single trade should be documented. It should be proven in your playbook. It should be back tested before you've even tried it in the market.
Yeah.
Because once you start going outside of that, you know, it's such an emotional game. You start to think you know what's going on, and you really don't. Like you guys said, like, you know how, you know, there's all these people that have trillions of dollars that are in the market, you know, making it move, making it do these things. As day traders, I don't care about the 10-year projection of the company or if BlackRock is going to, you know, liquidate their positions. I don't care. What I care about is in this time that I'm trading, are they in for the long? You know, are they wanting it to go up or are they wanting it to go down? And I just need to be able to catch that move in the correct direction. And then I make my move and I'm done. I get out of there.
Because you're closing out at the end of the day anyway.
Get out of there. Yeah.
So you guys hold no trades?
No. Overnight? No. Never. Okay. Never. So that's how it goes. The reason I was saying like the people that I teach and my students, another part of the business is I also teach people how to trade. Right. So a lot of people will come to me and ask me, you know, like, I want to get into trading. I've tried it. I've lost all my money. You know, why is this? You know, and the main thing that got me to do this is because when I first started, I didn't have any community of traders. I didn't know anybody that was trading. So I was going in pretty much blind. So I know the pitfalls that people can fall into. Right. So when I'm teaching people, I sort of see myself in them as well when I was in that journey. You know, I know, you know, what they were thinking, you know, when they were up and then they lose.
Must be a big high when you're up though, eh?
It is, but for me, I guess I'd say like I'm more hard on myself than I am like praising myself. So like even days like I'll make a new record for like my high. I'll be like, yeah, it was good. I went like 4 for 5, but why did I, you know, mess up that one trade? You know, like why did I do that? You know what I mean? So I'm more hard on myself.
Good. It keeps you somewhat grounded, I guess, because if you get too high, you go back into that greed or
yeah, exactly. Right? And then just the ego starts to kick in.
Day trading, we know someone that does a little bit of that. Yeah. I mean, Muhammad does that a little bit. Yeah. Or did that a little bit.
Did he do day trading, or I thought he just invested in stocks?
Day trading, bro. He was researching it for years.
I'm a very big, I need to see it while I build it.
Of course.
Guy, and that's the kind of business I was always into. But
it's not easy, bro. You gotta be focused the whole time. Mm-hmm. No distractions.
Yeah.
So then,
can't someone bothering
if
you.
If someone's trying to get into day trading, what would be like your greatest advice?
My greatest advice would be, as much as people want to read all the books and, you know, watch all the videos, you also have to put in the personal work as well, right? You got to implement the discipline. You got to implement your self-control, because those two are the ones that are going to completely override your mind when you're in a trade, right? It's not going to be, you're not going to be trading and then you're going to be thinking of the YouTube video that you watched, you know, last year of like why I'm doing this. you're going to be thinking like, oh, damn, I'm down, $100 or something. Why? Like I'm getting scared. I don't want to lose this money. But it's your discipline and your self-control that's going to sort of keep you accountable and keep you on the path that you need to be, right? A lot of people also, before they start, they don't have, concrete rules as to what they're trading, how they're trading. They don't have, things that they've tested in the back, in the back end of things in the simulator. They don't have any real proof that what they were doing in the simulator was anything but luck. You know what I mean? So you need to have those things before you go live. And when I teach my students, we have, there's a whole course curriculum that I teach, and we do strictly one-on-one or one-on, like, if you two wanted to learn, I'll put your boys together. You know what I'm saying? You guys would do the course together.
Settings or individual.
So we'll do it, and like I'll teach you the thing. It's 2 weeks of online like classes.
So theory and application?
Yes, exactly. So you'll go 2 weeks. I'm gonna teach you, PowerPoint style. Like, this is the market. This is how we trade. This is what we do. These are the patterns. This is your homework. Like, do this, because the next time you're gonna have to put them all together into the simulator.
Makes sense.
Right? Once we get into the simulator, I believe it's about a month long. I'm going to start at the beginning assessing, what style of trader do the people like to be, or like the student. Each individual person is completely different. So even if somebody's watching over my shoulder and they're trying to trade the same as me, they're still going to be a second slower, and they're not going to be as cool, calm, and collected as me, because they're trading out of pocket. They're not trading what's comfortable for them. So they're going to be a lot more stressed than, say, I would be stressed, because I'm like I do this on the daily. You know what I mean? So having, those sort of playbooks and everything in set in stone helps relieve some of the emotional burden, but it doesn't get rid of it, right? Like, that's the main thing. You have to be built a certain way to handle these sort of stressors and these sort of things that comes with trading. And a lot of people don't have it, right? A lot of people, especially as much as I've seen it, a lot of people aren't willing to, get honest with themselves.
I guess that's why the fail rate must be high, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. So for those same people, like, once they're up, they're like, oh yeah, that's me. I know what was going on when it was happening. But most of the times they're just lucky. And when the market comes and hits them with a loss,
boom,
they self-destruct from the inside. It's not the market. It's not the market that was timing when you're going in and going to, kick you out. They were targeting you. It was you self-destructing on yourself. So it's all a mental game.
It's against like human nature,
bro.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's all
theory and application. What would you call that, bro? So what is that, combination?
Huh?
That's combination, right?
Well, is that a Drake reference? You know what? We're running out of time.
Yep.
It was a pleasure to have you, David.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
We're gonna put your information if you guys want to get in contact with David.
Mm-hmm.
David, call us, bro. Change your name to David.
One of our. It's funny because you're doing the opposite right now. Right?
I keep it David, bro. The reason I do is people. It opens up the door a lot when people hear David Andre.
Bro, we don't have to assimilate.
You're Muslim.
You don't have to be. Yeah. You don't have to assimilate to the white culture, bro. You can be Daoud, bro. It's okay.
No, never. I was born David, and David will stay.
He's sticking to David.
There's so many people that ask me, like, how you David Andre, but you're Muslim, and then just open the door.
So jokes.
Just opens the door all the way, yeah.
For sure.
So we ran out of time, guys. Like I said, we're gonna put his information. If you guys want to get a hold of him, he'll be able to teach you whatever. If you guys like what you saw, smash that thumbs up button, subscribe, turn on that little bell. We'll see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.